Hello, I'm Kate Cunningham, and today I'm going to talk to you about how to find lots of books to read without breaking the bank. In video 1, I talked about why reading is so important and all the research and evidence that we have that that's the case. And in video 2, I talked about the importance of finding things that your child really enjoys reading. And the difficult bit about that is you need to be able to find lots of different things to read. I've got 3 sorts of suggestions for this video. Some are free, some aren't free to you but maybe involve other people taking on the cost, and the last suggestion is a cheaper way of getting books. So first off, the freebies. And I have mentioned it before, but your absolute best option with all of this is a local library. Libraries have been under a lot of pressure recently, but hopefully there'll be one library near you. And if you're lucky, there might be more than one, because if you live in a particular area but you're near the boundary, you are entitled to get library cards for libraries in both areas. The thing you have to do is find out where the nearest library is and then apply for a library card. It doesn't cost any money to do that. You do have to provide proof of identity and where you live so that they can contact you and keep track of their books. Once you've got your library card, it's really useful to spend some time in the library. Let your children choose what books they want. But beyond that, there's the librarian. It's not just about the building with the books in it. You have trained people who are passionate about books. So if your child likes a particular topic, you can ask them for ideas about what kind of books or things they could find there. If they have certain authors they like, the librarian might be able to make suggestions once they've finished reading that author, who else they might like to read. And then the other thing is that if that library that you are at doesn't physically hold books that you want, you can ask for them to be ordered from other libraries. As long as the books are in one of the libraries, they can use interlibrary loan and order those books in. The only time you're going to have to wait for books is going to be if you're getting an interlibrary loan, or if you are waiting for a book that has just come out, that is incredibly popular, that everybody wants to read, and you'll probably have to go on a waiting list. Other than that, you can go in and just get lots of lovely books, read them as much as you want to, as much as your child wants to, and bring them back and get some more. Perfect. You might also be lucky and your school might have a library which will lend books. But the schools I visit, some have libraries, some don't. It's quite an expensive thing for a school to run, and it takes a lot of resources, keep managing it. But if you are one of those lucky people whose child has a school with a library in it, then encourage them to make use of that and get some books from there too. The next option isn't free as such, but it may be that if you ask family members to give it as a gift, it's not an ongoing cost to you. And the suggestion is to look at subscriptions for comics and magazines. In the past, some of my children have had these as gifts, and they're great because not only do you get reading material through your door on a regular basis for the length of the subscription, usually a year, but it's a gift that they just keep getting all year long. So they might not have the first magazine on their birthday, but once a month they will get a magazine for a whole year, which is pretty exciting. And the key to that is to make sure that whoever is, if you have got somebody that is happy to do that, make sure they're getting a subscription for something that your child likes, not that they think is worthy or that they like. There are a huge number of subscriptions that you can get. They vary from news, age-appropriate newspapers, to magazines about the natural world and animals, to football, to TV shows. There's a vast number that you can select from. So that is a really great gift, and one that certainly I still get my adult children a subscription for things they like, because it's just a great way of spreading your birthday. The other birthday option is a book voucher. Again, maybe not what most children see as the most exciting thing, but it's not likely to be the only thing they're getting on their birthday. The excitement will come after their birthday when you get to take them to a bookshop and they get to choose what they want to read. Absolute choice material within the cost of the book voucher. So that's another great way of getting another book in the house. The next option I'm going to give you is one where there's a lot of room to make it your own and create a group with fellow parents and set up a children's book club. I'm not thinking in terms of the way that adults set up book clubs where they meet and discuss books. I'm thinking more of an exchange club where perhaps you meet together and swap books that the children have finished reading for books that their friends have finished reading, and swap them out like for like. And there's going to be a certain amount of logistics needed to work out with that. The bigger the group you have, the more likely you are to find different books that your child might like. And as they get a little bit older, it also might be, if you've got parents who have younger children, you can still do swaps with books amongst a larger group. So I'm not setting out how exactly that should work, that's up to you, but it's definitely worth thinking about, because the more parents you can get involved in doing something like that, the more likely that kind of project is to work. If you have children that are under the age of 5, it's worth checking out Dolly Parton's Imagination Library online. And that is an organisation set up by Dolly Parton, who is very passionate about encouraging literacy for children and providing things for them to read. So what they do is, worldwide, they take areas, they approve them, and then people who live in those areas can apply for their child to become part of Dolly Parton's Imagination Library. And the way you check whether your area is covered is to go onto their website, put in your postcode, and they'll tell you if you can apply. Lots of areas of the UK are part of that now. The website says that they have distributed over 5 million books to children in the UK. If your area is not on that, definitely get on to your local councillor and ask them why not. Why not be part of this incredible programme that is going on worldwide to support children's reading. The last option that I've got on my list isn't free, but it is a cheaper way of getting children's books, and that is that every charity shop, if you go right to the back usually, amongst the books there is a shelf of children's books, and it's a well-kept secret amongst teachers, primary school teachers for sure, that during the holidays they'll be heading into charity bookshops and charity shops to the bookshop section and finding some really nice quality books at a fraction of the cost in the shop at full price. Now, all that's not to say that you shouldn't buy children books at full price if you feel able to and want to, but if you're going to feed that passion for reading, almost certainly you're going to need to use some of these options to get as many reading materials as you can. Lastly, I have talked all the way through this about books, and that is just because it's the easy go-to term to use. But remember, there are lots of other things to read in your house that are good practice and things to look at together. So if you have a child who really enjoys cookery, for example, recipes are reading. If you have a child who loves construction and they have some instructions on how to make things that they like to create, instructions are reading. There are other ways of encouraging reading that doesn't involve a book every single time, and it's useful to keep those things in mind as well. All of this and links to the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, and also a link to a website that includes a lot of information about available subscriptions, is on my Substack, Reading Riddle Substack, which will be linked in the information with this video. Next video, I will be talking about reading a story or a book again and again and again. And it's something that happens with all parents, is either because your child chooses it or you have a reading book from school that you are expected to look at a few times, and it sometimes feels quite frustrating. So in the next video I'll be explaining why that is a useful thing to do, and why it is that we do ask you to read stories repeatedly, and why children ask for it too. Thank you.